Okay, I need to tell you something, and honestly, I've been waiting for this moment all month, because tonight something shifts, and if you've been feeling absolutely drained, emotionally raw, or like you've been running on fumes for the past week or two, I really need you to stay with me on this one. Tonight, January 29th, the moon enters Cancer, and I know that might sound like just another astrological event, but here's the thing, this isn't just a transit. I really believe this is a release valve, a cosmic exhale, and for some of you, this could be the emotional breakthrough you've been unconsciously waiting for. Now, if you've been feeling like you can't quite catch your breath lately, or like your emotions are right at the surface, ready to spill over at any moment, there's a very specific reason for that, and I'm going to break it down for you in this video. But first, I need to explain what's been building up to this moment, because to understand why tonight feels so significant, you need to see what January has actually put us through. And honestly, when I started connecting these dots, it was a huge aha moment for me. The month that tried to break us. Let me paint you a picture of what's been happening energetically. January started heavy, like really heavy. We came into this year with major Capricorn energy, the Sun, Mercury, Mars, all in this sign of structure, discipline, and relentless ambition. And if you felt that pressure to perform, to achieve, to keep pushing no matter what, you weren't imagining it. Capricorn is that energy of just push through it. It's the sign that doesn't have time for feelings because there's work to be done. And for the first couple weeks of January, that's exactly what the universe was demanding from us. Does that resonate? But then, and this is where it gets intense, everything shifted into Aquarius. Between January 17th and January 23rd, we had this mass migration of planets. Venus, the Sun, Mercury, Mars, all flooding into Aquarius. And suddenly, the energy wasn't just heavy anymore, it became electric, buzzing, detached. Now here's what I've been noticing, and I've been feeling this myself. Aquarius energy is brilliant, right? It's innovative, it's visionary, it's all about the future and progress. But it's also in your head. It's air. And when you have that much air energy concentrated in one place, something happens to your nervous system. You start feeling wired but tired, anxious but numb, like your brain won't shut off but your heart feels disconnected. And if you've been experiencing that specific combination lately, that buzzing, ungrounded sensation, that's why. Your nervous system has been on overdrive. The storm before the calm. And then, just when you thought it couldn't get more intense, we had two massive events happen within 48 hours. First, on January 26th, Neptune entered Aries. This is a generational shift, something that happens once every 14 years or so. Neptune is the planet of dreams, spirituality, the unconscious, and Aries is the warrior, the self, the spark of life. What that means is the collective spiritual frequency just changed. We're moving from this era of dissolving into the whole, the Neptune in Pisces vibe, to this new energy of spiritual individuation, the spiritual warrior. And honestly, that alone is profound. But the really intense part, on January 27th, Mars and Pluto came together in an exact conjunction at 3 degrees Aquarius. And if you know anything about Mars-Pluto energy, you know that's volatile, that's explosive, that's the meeting of personal will and evolutionary force, it's crisis energy, breakthrough or burnout energy. And I think a lot of us felt that. Maybe it showed up as a fight with someone close to you, maybe it was internal, a confrontation with your own suppressed anger or frustration, maybe you hit a wall and realized something had to change, but whatever it was, it broke something open. And here's what I want you to understand. This wasn't punishment. This was preparation, because all of that intensity, all of that pressure building up through January, it was creating the conditions for what happens tonight. The waters are here. So tonight, at 5:30 in the afternoon, the moon leaves Gemini and enters Cancer, and this is where everything I've been talking about finally makes sense. The moon in Cancer is coming home. Cancer is the moon's home sign, its domicile. This is where the moon is most comfortable, most powerful, most able to do what it does best: nurture, protect, and feel. And after weeks, literally weeks of dry, structured earth energy and electric, detached air energy, we're finally getting water. We're finally getting flow. We're finally getting permission to feel without having to analyze it, fix it, or push through it. And I really want you to sit with that for a second, because if you've been feeling emotionally constipated, if you've been holding it together through sheer force of will, if you've been telling yourself, I'll deal with my feelings later, I just need to get through this, tonight is later. This Cancer moon isn't asking you to keep it together, it's inviting you to fall apart in the most healing way possible. Does that make sense? Now, am I saying everyone's going to have this massive emotional release tonight? No, I can't say that for certain, but what I am saying is that the energetic conditions are absolutely perfect for it. And if you've been on the edge of tears, on the edge of a breakthrough, on the edge of finally letting yourself feel what you've been avoiding, tonight is the night. Why this isn't just another moon transit? Here's what makes this specific. The moon enters Cancer at 0 degrees, the very first degree of the sign, and at that exact same moment it forms a square aspect to Neptune, which just entered Aries at 0 degrees. A square is tension, it's friction, it's two energies that don't naturally get along being forced to interact, and normally that might sound stressful, but in this case, I think it's exactly what we need. Because Neptune in Aries is asking us to dissolve our defenses around who we think we're supposed to be, and the moon in Cancer is saying, let yourself be vulnerable, let yourself need comfort, let yourself be human. The square between them doesn't let you hide, it doesn't let you stay stoic, it cracks you open. And honestly, after the Mars-Pluto conjunction 2 days ago, I think a lot of us are already cracked open. The defenses are already down. The walls are already shaky. This moon just washes through the cracks and clears out everything that's been stuck. This isn't just a mood shift. I really believe this is a biological reset. Your nervous system has been in fight or flight mode. The Aquarius stellium has been activating your sympathetic nervous system, all that anxiety, that buzzing, that inability to rest. And the Cancer moon activates your parasympathetic nervous system. Rest, digest, heal, feel safe. So if you suddenly feel exhausted tonight, if you feel like you could sleep for 12 hours, if you feel like your body is just releasing all this tension you didn't even know you were holding, that's not weakness. That's your body finally feeling safe enough to let go. The conversation you've been waiting to have. And there's one more piece to this that I think is really beautiful. Earlier today, at 5 in the morning, Mercury and Venus came together in an exact conjunction at 14 degrees Aquarius. Mercury is your mind, your voice, your ability to communicate. Venus is your heart, your values, your capacity for love and connection. And when they meet in Aquarius, the sign of truth and clarity, something specific happens. Your head finally understands what your heart has been trying to tell you. You know that feeling when you've been upset or hurt or confused about something, but you can't quite put it into words, and then suddenly, in a conversation or in a moment of clarity, it just clicks. That's this energy. The Mercury-Venus conjunction is giving you the words, the Cancer moon is giving you the permission to feel, and together they're creating this really unique healing dynamic where you can both understand and release at the same time. So don't be surprised if you find yourself having an important conversation tonight, maybe with someone else, maybe with yourself. But I think a lot of us are going to be verbalizing things we've been holding inside. And once it's spoken, once it's out in the open, the healing can really begin. This isn't just emotional, it's physical. I want to pause here and talk about something that I don't think gets enough attention. When we talk about emotional breakthroughs, we often think of them as purely psychological. But that's not how it works. Your emotions live in your body. That tightness in your chest, that stored emotion, that tension in your shoulders, that's held stress, that exhaustion that won't go away no matter how much you sleep. That's your nervous system that hasn't been able to reset. And what I've been learning, and this has been huge for me, is that you can't think your way out of stored trauma or stress. You have to feel your way through it. You have to let your body release it. That's what the Cancer moon does. It moves through your body like water. It softens what's been hardened. It flows through what's been blocked. And if you let it, it washes away the residue of everything January has thrown at you. So if you feel like crying tonight, cry. If you feel like you need to be held, ask for it. If you feel like you need to curl up under a blanket and just be gentle with yourself, do it. This isn't indulgence. This is medicine. And honestly, after the intensity of the past 2 days, after Mars and Pluto collided and Neptune shifted into Aries, I think we all need this. We need the cooling. We need the softening. We need the reminder that it's okay to not be okay. The 3 signs experiencing the deepest shift. Now, while everyone is going to feel this Cancer moon to some degree, there are 3 signs that I believe are going to experience this as a profound emotional breakthrough. And if you're one of these signs, or if you have significant placements in these signs, I really want you to pay attention to what I'm about to say. Cancer, this is your homecoming. You've been carrying everyone else's emotional weight for weeks now. The Capricorn energy in your 7th house of relationships has had you showing up for others, being the responsible one, being the strong one. And then the Aquarius stellium moved into your 8th house, the house of intimacy and crisis, and you've been dealing with other people's intensity while somehow keeping your own emotions under wraps. And honestly, I think you're exhausted. Not just tired, soul-level exhausted. But tonight, the moon comes home to your 1st house, your house of self, and for the first time all month you get to reclaim your emotional energy. You get to stop holding space for everyone else and finally hold space for yourself. The breakthrough for you is the release of that burden. It's the realization that you don't have to carry everyone. You don't have to be everyone's emotional anchor. You are allowed to need support too. And here's what I think is going to happen. With the moon squaring Neptune in your 10th house of career and public image, you might have a realization about your path. You might recognize that you've been prioritizing duty over happiness. And you might decide to make a change. This is reclamation. This is you taking your power back, and it's about time. Scorpio, this is your purification. You've been at the center of the storm. Mars and Pluto are your rulers, and when they came together in your 4th house on January 27th, I'm guessing you experienced something intense. Maybe it was a confrontation with family. Maybe it was realizing you need to make a change in your home situation. Maybe it was just this overwhelming feeling of being backed into a corner. The Aquarius energy has been squaring your sign, creating friction and resistance. You felt locked in, stuck, like you couldn't move forward, but you also couldn't stay where you were. But tonight changes that. The moon in Cancer forms a water trine to your sign, a harmonious flowing aspect that creates a channel for all that pent-up intensity to release. And here's what I want you to know. That anger you've been feeling, that frustration, that sense of being trapped, it's not bad, it's not wrong, but it doesn't have to consume you either. The breakthrough for you is the transmutation of that heavy energy into wisdom. It's the washing away of toxicity. It's the realization that you don't have to hold on to pain just because it's familiar. The Mercury-Venus conjunction in your 4th house suggests there might be a healing conversation happening at home, and the moon moving through your 9th house lifts your perspective, helps you see the bigger picture, the lesson, the meaning in what you've been going through. This is purification. This is you clearing out the old so the new can enter, and you're going to feel so much lighter when it's done. Leo, this is your sanctuary. The Aquarius stellium has been sitting directly opposite your sign all month in your 7th house of partnerships, and I'm guessing it's been challenging. Maybe you've felt criticized. Maybe you've been in conflicts with a partner or dealing with relationship drama. Maybe you've just felt drained by other people's demands. And then the Mars-Pluto conjunction happened in that same 7th house on January 27th, and things probably came to a head. There might have been a fight, a realization, a breaking point. But tonight the moon enters your 12th house, and I know the 12th house gets a bad reputation. It's the house of the subconscious, of what's hidden, of retreat. But in this context, I think it's exactly what you need. The breakthrough for you is permission to withdraw, permission to stop fighting, permission to retreat from the battlefield of relationships and reconnect with your own heart. Your 12th house is your sanctuary. It's your private space where you don't have to perform or prove anything, and the Cancer moon moving through that space is inviting you to rest, to heal in private, to remember who you are when no one's watching. And here's the thing, you don't need external validation to feel whole. You don't need anyone's approval to know your worth. That's what this breakthrough is teaching you. The Mercury-Venus conjunction suggests that some kind of peace treaty might be happening, either with someone else or with yourself, and that peace is allowing you this sacred time to retreat and restore. This is sanctuary. This is you finding safety in solitude, and it's one of the most profound forms of healing. What happens after the release? Here's what I think a lot of people don't talk about when it comes to emotional breakthroughs. What happens after, because the release is important. The crying, the feeling, the letting go, that's all crucial. But what comes after is the integration, the settling, the new baseline. After tonight, after the Cancer moon has done its work, you're going to feel different. Not necessarily better immediately. Sometimes healing feels messy before it feels good, but different. You might wake up tomorrow feeling lighter, like something that was weighing on you is just gone, or you might feel tender, raw, like you've just had surgery on your heart and you're still healing. Both are okay. Both are part of the process. And here's what I want you to remember. This moon in Cancer is teaching us that vulnerability is not weakness. Needing comfort is not failure. Feeling your feelings is not a waste of time. We live in a world that glorifies the hustle, the grind, the pushing through no matter what, and January has been a perfect example of that. All that Capricorn achievement energy, all that Aquarius innovation energy. But you can't run on empty forever. Tonight is the universe's way of saying, stop, feel, heal. And then, when you're ready, you can keep moving. But not before. The spiritual warrior learns to rest. I keep coming back to this image of Neptune in Aries, the spiritual warrior, because I think that's what 2026 is calling us to become. Not just people who work hard or think smart, but people who fight for their own souls, who defend their own peace, who protect their own hearts. And what tonight is teaching us is that warriors need rest. They need to tend their wounds. They need moments of softness and safety to balance out the battles. The Cancer moon isn't making you weak, it's making you whole, because you can't be a warrior if you're empty. You can't fight for your truth if you've forgotten what you're fighting for. So tonight, if you find yourself feeling all the feelings, if the floodgates open and everything comes pouring out, don't fight it. This is not a setback. This is a breakthrough. You're not falling apart. You're falling together. You're letting the pieces rearrange themselves into a new pattern, a healthier pattern, a pattern that actually fits who you're becoming. And honestly, after everything January has thrown at us, I think we all deserve this moment of grace. If this resonated with you and you want to see more content like this, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. It helps more than you know. And please, drop your experiences in the comments. I really want to hear what you've been going through this month. Have you been feeling that nervous tension? Did the Mars-Pluto conjunction shake something loose for you? Are you feeling this Cancer moon energy tonight? I read every single comment, and I love connecting with you all. We're all in this together, navigating these cosmic shifts and trying to make sense of it all. Take care of yourself tonight. Be gentle with your heart. And remember, healing isn't linear, and it's definitely not pretty, but it's always, always worth it. I'll see you in the next one.